CES 2017 coverage is brought to you by MSI and the new Z270 chipset, and by EVGA, our trusted graphics card partner. Consumer Electronics Show 2017, checking out what Patriot has to offer. It's been a few years since I've worked with Patriot, so I'm excited to check this out because it may not be new to you, but it's new to me that they've actually jumped into the peripherals game here, and we've got a couple things we're going to check out. Now, I know what you're thinking. Peripherals they're hard to shop for, I feel. I mean, I already have kind of compared it to shopping for shoes. If it's not perfect and it doesn't fit right and it's not the color you want, you're not going to buy it. And with there being so many flavors in the industry, it's hard to choose. I have a hard time picking peripherals myself. We're going to start out here with the V570, which is the headset. It's pretty interesting because it's got surface mounted controls on here, volume control, and it's got an interesting switch right here. This right here activates an additional subwoofer that's basically built into the headset. It's a 30mm driver hooked up to this switch on top of a 40mm driver that's already driving these stereo headphones. Now this is if you're playing action games, Battlefield 1, CSGO, whatever explosions are happening, that's literally going to shake your head. That's what it's kind of designed to do. And I'm happy that they made this a surface switch, because if you decide like, I don't want that much bass suddenly, you've got a headache that day, you don't have to go into software and fiddle with it to turn that off. It's just a surface mounted switch. Or if you really want to feel like you're in the middle of Battlefield 1, you turn that on and your vision might go even a little bit, you turn on a subwoofer in a car and it starts to vibrate, you might feel that. If you want it, it's there. So it's also got a retractable microphone that's going to be up and out of the way if you're not using it. I like this design rather than the ones that kind of push up in and out of the ear can, because it's easy to get to. They've also got a mouse over here. This is the V370. This is a weight adjustable mouse, which is kind of a big deal because you're holding it, you're moving it, you're gaming with it. Speed is everything, tracking is everything. We got the cover off here. You can see you've got quite a few different 30-gram weights here to adjust the weighting of the mouse how you want it. I like a nice heavy mouse, so I would leave all the weights in, but maybe you want something that's light for real fine movements. You can do that. We've got RGB on here that is customizable, so you can pick the color you want or just let it kind of go disco mode and do its thing. And speaking of colors, here is the V770, which is their new mechanical keyboard here. Tail switches available in different colors. This feels like a red, there's no bump in there. So you got different lighting profile buttons here. It's all customizable, so you can adjust this on a key-by-key basis. You can also do it in sectors of the keyboard, or you can just let it kind of go in some of its pre-configured modes. But it's also got a braided cable on all of these peripherals we've taken a look at. So that means you're going to have durability with the cable, especially if you're traveling with it, going to LAN parties, school, basement, whatever. So yeah, I'm actually kind of impressed with what I see here when it comes to peripherals, because I'm a hard guy to make excited about peripherals. You guys know that. But I like what I see here. Okay, so I've wandered over here to the Gigabyte event where they have some overclocking going on. You got a lot of custom systems going on right here, some water-cooled stuff, and I noticed something they didn't even point out to me when they were showing me what they had here. And this graphics card is actually an Norris branded graphics card, as you can see right here. It's got some things on here that I haven't seen in any graphics card yet. We're going to talk about that for a second. But I wanted to point out that Norris is actually the premium line within Gigabyte. You're going to be seeing more Norris products coming out. We've got an Norris Gaming 5 motherboard right here. Looks very similar to the Gigabyte stuff, and that's because there's a shift that's happening here where they're going to be kind of taking the gaming stuff, the premium stuff, and it's all going to be having the Norris brand on there. But what makes this graphics card different, this looks an awful lot like the 1080 Extreme we took a look at, right? Where I fixed the shroud on here. But look at the back of this. It actually has a full copper rear heatsink touching the back of the GPU socket, which is where a lot of heat is actually expelled. Heat goes both ways. So you cool the front of it, what about the back? Well, check this out. Full copper backplate on there. Or excuse me, not even a backplate, it's a heatsink. It's heavy too. This is really heavy. It's also got a LED right here which will shine with the Norris logo. You can turn this off, I believe, if you don't want to see that. But this is like an early prototype. This doesn't even have a name yet. I assume this is a 1080 PCB, but I could be wrong. But I definitely wanted to show that to you. Something else I wanted to show you here. You guys remember the X99 Phoenix motherboard that I put in Coconut Monkey's build when we did his? This is the new Norris motherboard here. Looks an awful lot like that. This is a Z270 motherboard, but you might notice something. It has an integrated EK water block on the VRMs up here. So this is either a heatsink or a water block, whichever. You don't have to put water in this. It works as a heatsink without it. If you want to incorporate a motherboard into your cooling loop, it is a full copper EK water block. So you can now incorporate the motherboard in your loop without having to buy anything extra. That's pretty freaking awesome. Then of course it's got all the things you'd expect from which is now the Norris motherboard. But anyway, the reason why I'm showing you that is I just wanted to kind of prepare you for the shift that's happening here where Gigabyte's moving the premium stuff over to the Norris brand.
Everything right now is room temperature, okay? Inside you see the CPU head. Down inside there, it's attached to the CPU. CPU is delidded. It's the i7 7700. And what we're going to do is, if you guys come over here, this is basically the simplicity of our machine. You just push the button, set the CPU point. Let's say we're going to go to minus 40. I hit minus 40. Hit send. Minus 42, and it just goes there. So that's basically it. You can't really hear it, but probably if you get close, you can actually hear the hear the LN2 running. So what's happening is inside here, when you get this really cold inside, when it gets down to minus 10, minus 20, minus 30, it starts building up condensation and then ice and then ice and then ice, and you ruin your gear if you don't what do you call it, insulate it right. Okay, well, with our purge case, because it doesn't allow any moisture inside the case and it purges out all the moisture out of the case continuously, and it hermetically seals the case, so at the end when you walk, you can just walk away and it'll stay dry inside, right? But with our purge case, you don't have to insulate anything with any insulation. So you can see right here, you can watch the temperatures on the controller drop, and as you see, see how it's dropping. It's going to go to 42, and rest there. So you can set it anywhere from 70 degrees Celsius, because it will maintain. You can actually use this as a regular cooler. Like if you wanted to cool at room temperature, you wanted to keep your CPU continuously at 23, you just set it at 23 degrees Celsius and it'll just keep it there. So you don't have to blow through a whole lot of liquid nitrogen if you're loading up drivers or something like that. The range, oh yeah, so anywhere from 50 degrees positive, I think actually 70 degrees, down to minus 196. As cold as liquid nitrogen will get, this will regulate it at that temperature. Wow. So that's it. That's how it works, man.
So these guys are trying really hard to get me to do LN2. So we're talking. We're going to see maybe a collab in the future where these guys introduce me to LN2 and I build a rig specifically for that, because I like overclocking. But now it's like it's kind of boring now because I only go as far as I can go on water, and that's easy. So maybe you guys will see that in the future. He's gonna. I can see it on his face. He's like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. So.
I like LA, man. We're coming down.
All right, let's get out of here before he starts costing me money. Hey,
Thanks,
nice
man.
to meet you, man. Appreciate it.